Hello everyone, welcome and/or welcome back to my channel. I'm Em, and this is going to be my spring book haul. I have no excuses. I would like to have some sort of explanation for my behavior, but sadly, the only thing I can tell you is buying books makes me so happy. So I think that's all I need to say. I am on a book buying ban for June, and it's currently June 10th, so it's going great. The only books I have purchased this month so far is my Aardvark Book Club book, which was my exception to the book ban, and books that are also gifts for other people. So it's going good. It's not getting these books read any faster than I would like, but I usually do these in chronological order from longest, most, least purchase. I go in the order that I bought them in. And my last haul, I think I did in February. So this is from March. However, this time I'm not doing them in chronological order. I have ordered them a little bit differently because I have started receiving books from publishers. So that is a separate stack. So actually, let's just get into these ones now. These were all sent to me from Macmillan. They are a combination of Tor and Tor.com, which is my favorite publisher, so works out nicely for me. Let's just go ahead and dive in. First one up is Installment Immortality. This is by Shauna McGuire. This is part of her Encrypted series, which I haven't read, and this is book 14 in the series, which is making me question if I am going to embark on a 14 book series. I haven't decided yet. I really like this cover though. I really like Shauna McGuire, so I'm sure if I do dive into this, I will have a good time. We'll just have to see how it goes. And then they sent me The Martian Contingency by Mary Robinette Kowal. This is a new Lady Astronaut series. I read the Lady Astronaut series a number of years ago and I really, really liked it. And so I'm interested to see where we go in this next book, especially after such a big gap in between book 3 and this being published, because it has been a few years since Mary Robinette Kowal has written in this world. This one I was so excited to get because I actually had purchased this one physically on release day because I didn't know Tor was going to be sending it to me, but it is Rose House by Arkady Martine. I really love A Memory Called Empire and A Desolation Called Peace, that duology. I thought that was really great, and I've been really eager to read more from Arkady Martine. Well, for her to publish more so that I can read from her. I believe this is like a murder mystery with a sentient house situation. I haven't read it yet. Look, y'all, the read to unread ratio for this particular haul is not going to be good. I have not read most of these. So if you're looking for super specific descriptions of synopses, I probably should have done this as a disclaimer at the beginning. I don't have them for you. So I'm just showing you what I've got. I'll give you what details that I have, but if you want to know more in-depth plot synopsis, that is what Google is for. I'm going to read you the synopsis type of booktuber. Next up is The Tomb of Dragons by Catherine Addison. I have read The Goblin Empire, and then this is book 3 in a spin-off series, and I have not started the spin-off series yet, which I think actually is a trilogy. So this I think is book 3, so the final installment, because that's how trilogies work. And I'm not quite sure what direction we go with this new trilogy. I know we're following a different character, like a side character from the Goblin Emperor, but I really like Catherine Addison's writing, and I thought I really liked the main character in the Goblin Emperor, so I am looking forward to diving into the series. Next up is Don't Sleep with the Dead by Niveau. This is a companion sequel, standalone sequel to The Chosen and the Beautiful, which is her Great Gatsby retelling. And I'm not even sure who this one focuses on. Oh, so it looks like this is focusing on Nick and Gatsby. All right, so that'll be interesting. I'm hoping I like this more than I like Chosen and the Beautiful, because I found Chosen and the Beautiful to be a little boring, so I'm hoping I like this more. And I'm so embarrassed I haven't read this one yet, but look, I will do it. I think this is just, John Scalzi books are summer reading for me because they are so light and they're funny and a little bit ridiculous, and that is just every time I read a John Scalzi book, it has been during the summer. So I've just been waiting for it to be summer. But that is When the Moon Hits Your Eye. And this is about the moon turning into cheese, literally. And I'm sure it will be a silly, goofy, fun time with some social commentary on our current situation, because that's usually what we get from John Scalzi, and I usually have a real good time with it. All right, and then these next two books prompted a whole thing, because these next two books are book 2 and 3 of a series, but I had not read book 1. So I went and I got book 1 from my library to read it, and I'm so happy that I absolutely loved it and that I now have the next 2 books in the series. I forget, I think this is book 2, but I have, oh yeah, Necrobane and Advocate by Daniel M. Ford. And this series is about a necromancer who is sent to be the guardian of this very, very small village, and she is kind of insufferable, but I really dig an insufferable main character, and she's like building community connections, learning how to be less insufferable. There was the beginning of a sapphic relationship in book 1, and I just loved the characters so much, and it was really fast-paced. It reminded me a little bit of watching Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, just in terms of the pacing, the camp, the adventure, and the found family component with the characters. And then I also got Overgrowth by Mira Grant. This is Shauna Maguire's pen name when she writes horror. And this one's about sentient plants? Aliens. It's about aliens. And maybe plants. Doesn't it look like it would be about plants? Anyways, I've only read Into the Drowning Deep under the Mira Grant pen name. I think I'm saving this for Summerween. I hope I love it. And then one that I am currently in the middle of reading is, I was also sent the bind up of The Emily Adventures by Martha Wells. This is her YA steampunk fantasy duology. And I have like 100 pages left. I'm almost done. No, not even that. I have 70 pages left. I'm almost done with book 1. And this has been not my favorite time, but I do like it. My brain is weird with Martha Wells' writing. Sometimes I bounce off of it. Occasionally I'm bouncing off of it a little bit here, but I'm still liking the plot, and I like how action heavy it is, and I think the world is very, very cool. And then the last book in this section is book 3 in the, whatever this series is called, the Mosa and Pleiades series, and it's The Potency of Ungovernable Impulses by Malka Older. Book 1 in this is called The Mimicking of Known Successes, and it's a Sherlock and Watson style murder mystery set on Jupiter, which has been terraformed and colonized, and people and aliens live on it now. I really liked book 1. I have yet to continue on with the series. I was hoping book 2 would have an audiobook, but I think so far it still does not. So I guess I'm going to have to cave and read it with my eyeballs and then continue on to book 3. But book 1's audiobook was really good, so I don't know why there's not another one. Tor, please give this series more audiobooks. The next stack is going to be the books that I got from Aardvark Book Club. I'm way behind on reading my Aardvark Book Club books. This is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. This is a subscription I pay for with my own money, and I just really like the selections that they have every month. We are starting off with one that I have read, which is The Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. This is historical fiction horror about vampires, and I liked it. Not my favorite Stephen Graham Jones, but not my least favorite of his books either. And then we have The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is another Sherlock and Watson style murder mystery, but this one is fantasy, and I'm really excited to read this. I have heard amazing things about this series. And then we have When the Tides Held the Moon by Vanessa Vida Kelly. This is historical fantasy. It's set at Coney Island, and a man and a mermaid fall in love. That's all I know. And really, that's all I wanted to know. I love this cover. I think it's so pretty, though I definitely thought it was sapphic at first and was a little bit more excited to read it when I thought it was sapphic. Not that I won't love a male-male romance, but like sapphic would have been cool too. And then the book that I got for June from Aardvark Book Club is The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. This is more historical horror. Got a lot of that right now. And this is about cannibalistic nuns, and it's set in medieval times. So horrors abound, I'm sure. Next stack we're gonna do is ARCs that I have brought home from the bookstore. If this is your first video or I just haven't mentioned it in any of the other videos you've seen, I am the social media manager for an indie bookstore, so I also get access to ARCs from the bookstore, and these are the 4 that I have brought home in the last couple months that I really need to read because they can't just wallow in my house. First off is Cold Wire by Chloe Gong. This is her next YA book that comes out in November. I love Chloe Gong. She's one of my favorite authors. Her Romeo and Juliet duology that I totally forgot the name of was on my best books of 2024 list. And I also read Mortal Longings last year and absolutely loved it as well. I just love her writing. I love her character work. I don't even know if this one has a romance, but I think this one is science fiction, which will be interesting because all of her other books have been more on the fantasy line. And I'm really excited to read this. It's chunky though. It is chunky. And then 2 books that I think I'm also going to try to read during Summerween is I have an ARC for the, I guess, is this a bind up? I don't know, but who is this? Saga Press is publishing 2 older Stephen Graham Jones novellas. The Babysitter's Lives, and then on the other side is Killer on the Road. I don't know anything about Killer on the Road. I am excited to read The Babysitter Lives. I have seen good reviews for that, and it's just like just over 200 pages, so I feel like that would be fun for Summerween. And I'm hoping this one specifically will be another favorite Stephen Graham Jones, like that I can love the same way I love My Heart is a Chainsaw. And then I also have an ARC for Sarah Gailey's next horror book. This is called Spread Me. I hate that title so much. I just need you all to know how much I hate that title, and I almost don't want to read this book because I don't want to have to say that title when I talk about it, but I just hate it. I also kind of hate the cover. It just makes me feel uncomfortable in so many ways. The back says, after routine probe at a research station turns deadly, the team discovers a strange specimen in search of a warm place to stay. Blech. I think this is really going to make me uncomfortable, but I have not read a Sarah Gailey horror since I read the American Hippo duology, which actually my oldest is reading now, and that is such a fun time. Having your teen get into horror when you are a horror reader is the best. It's so fun. But yeah, I haven't read horror by them in a long time, and I have high hopes that I will love this, but also this title and the cover, it just makes me so uncomfortable. And then the most recent ARC that I might have broke my no bringing home books that I haven't read yet rule for June is The Entanglement of Rival Wizards by Sarah Rash. I inexplicably absolutely love her Holiday Royals series that has Nightmare Before Christmas and Go Luck Yourself in it. I love them so much. I don't know why. They're so silly, they're so goofy, but also they're so sweet, and I just absolutely love them. And this is the beginning of a new series that is coming out in the fall in September. And I think this is technically new adult romance because it takes place at a wizarding university. And look at them. Look at them. It says on the back, Allie Hazelwood meets Dungeons and Dragons in this fantasy academia rom-com where rival grad student wizards are forced to work together without killing or falling for each other. And I just think Sarah Rash writes such good rivals to lovers, or let's bug the crap out of each other to lovers. I think she's so good at it. And this is definitely on my most highly anticipated list for books that are coming out this year. I'm just expecting to have the best time reading it. All right, our last section is going to be the biggest section, and it's the books that I spent my own money buying. Look, it is what it is, okay? I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, we're just going to dive in. There is no rhyme or reason to these. I have read more of these than in the other sections, but it's still not a great ratio. One that I definitely have plans to read is Tales of Mystery and the Macabre by Elizabeth Gaskell. I am doing a year-long reading challenge where I'm alternating reading a book by Octavia E. Butler with a book by Elizabeth Gaskell, and October is going to be a Gaskell month, so I got this book specifically to read in October because I thought some gothic short stories would be a good time. I snagged a paperback of Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Caesar before it got replaced by the movie tie-in cover. This is a YA slasher series that I really like. It's such a good time. I don't know if I'm gonna go see the movie because while I do love a slasher on paper, I don't know that I love it on the screen, so I haven't decided yet if I'm going to be brave and try to watch the movie or if I'm going to continue to be a wimp and only read about slashers. And then I got the first two books in, what is this series called? I don't know what this series is called, but it's these books. The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love by India Holton, which I've already read and I gave 5 stars. This series is historical fantasy, and it's kind of like Veronica Speedwell, but with magic and more romance. So yeah, this was a 5-star, or maybe more quickly developing romance is the better way to put it. And then book 2, The Geographer's Map to Romance, which I haven't read yet, but I am also expecting to give 5 stars. I think this one is Failed Marriage of Convenience, so I think that'll be fun. And then I got Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. I think dark romantasy, there's necromancers and there's like a game in hell, to hell, something like that. Anyways, I had a hold on this at the library, had it on hold forever because it's really popular. I got it, put off reading it for too long, read the first 4 chapters, really liked them, and then had to give the book back to the library. So then when I was at the bookstore the following weekend, I decided to just buy it. Is that girl math? Feels like that's girl math. I think I'm gonna have a great time with this when I finally pick it up. I actually have a hold on the audiobook at the library and I have 2 more weeks, so hopefully this will be read this month. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh, I should have done a sequels category for this. That would have made sense. Anyways, the next one is The Sun Forge by Sasha Stronach. This is the sequel to The Dawn Hounds, and this is, I don't even know how to describe this. It's good. I really like The Dawn Hounds. I don't remember a thing that happened because I read it a while ago, but this is a Maori-inspired fantasy series, science fiction fantasy series, and the author is Maori as well. And then I was gifted a copy of The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt from my library, actually. My community is really focused on this book right now and reading it and figuring out how we can support our teenagers because we've had quite a few suicides at the local high school this year, more so than normal, or more so than we have in years past. So our community is really trying to pull together and figure out how we can support these teenagers so that they're not so lonely and don't feel like there's no other alternative for them to go forward. I have not read it yet because I'm a little scared and a little intimidated, but since I want to be an informed community member and also am the parent of children who are very quickly going to be in high school, I want to read this so I can make the best informed decisions on how we handle screens in our house possible. That got real heavy. Sorry about that. Okay, moving on. I also got the Fallen Gods trilogy. I had read Godkiller and Sunbringer last year. I got them from the library, and so I needed finished copies. I just got these off of Pango. They're like $5 each. Super great deal, but I've read these both already. Were they both 5 stars? I know Godkiller is 5 stars. I think this was just under 5 stars because like she separated all the characters so they weren't together. It made me so sad. And then the last book, Faithbreaker, came out this year, and I have not finished this series yet because I am afraid for it to be over. I'm afraid that Hannah Kaner is going to hurt my feelings, but I absolutely love this trilogy, and they're so pretty. Another complete series I got is Orbit UK, republished or traditionally published, the Saint and Steel series by T. Kingfisher, and the new covers were just so good that I had to have them. I have read 3 of these. So we have Paladin's Grace. Oh my gosh, I just love these like old school fantasy covers. They're so pretty. Paladin's Strength, Paladin's Hope, and then the one that I haven't gotten to yet, but it was just published last year, is Paladin's Faith. It was indie published last year, traditionally published this year. There is one other nonfiction in this. I have There's Always This Year on Basketball and Ascension by Hanif Abdurraqib. I really like his writing and how he talks about music and basketball and other things that I usually wouldn't care too much about, but just the way he weaves his essays together is so cool, and I'm really excited to read another book by him. I also got The Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. I read this last month. It was my pick for my year of Butler and Gaskell, and I felt like if I was going to invest in a Butler, it should be this one. Another one that I have already read is Welcome to the Hunam Dong Bookshop by Hwang Borum, and this is translated from Korean. It's about a woman who opens up a bookshop and about her building community with the people in her bookshop and the customers that come and the employees that she has, and it's really lovely, and I had a great time with it. Yeah, 2 more that I've already read. I have another nonfiction, Norm Porn by Karen Tongson. This is about queer viewers and the TV that we find comforting. This goes in depth talking about shows like True Blood, This Is Us, Gilmore Girls, and how it's made for a largely cis, het, white, affluent population, and then the ways that it sneakily appeals to queer viewership. And then I got Rachel Gillig's most recent release, The Night and the Moth. This was one of my most anticipated books for the year. This is the beginning of a new series about a woman named Sybil who is a diviner. At this cathedral, she dreams omens for people, and her fellow diviners go missing, and she sets out on this journey to discover what happened to them. I really liked most of this one. The ending fell apart a little bit for me, sadly, so it wasn't the favorite that I was anticipating it being, which is really sad, but I didn't like the ending. Like, aggressively didn't like the ending, which is, again, makes me so sad. I am definitely continuing on with the series because I absolutely love Rachel Gillig. And then BookTube got to me, y'all. I got Empire of Shadows by Jacqueline Benson. This is supposed to be historical adventure. Is there fantasy? I think there's a little bit of fantasy. Anyways, it's supposed to be perfect for people who like Romancing the Stone and The Mummy, and I love both of those things, and I'm hoping I'm gonna like it. I really liked What the River Knows and Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez, so I'm hoping this follows in a similar vein, just maybe a little bit more adult, because that other duology is YA. The last 2 are also highly anticipated releases for this year. I have Everybody Wants to Rule the World Except Me by Django Wexler. This is the sequel to How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying. This is a fantasy series that I really love. Django Wexler is a favorite author in my house, and I'm so excited to dive in and see what other ridiculousness Davi is going to get up to. And then the final one is Saint Death's Herald by S.E. Cooney. This is the sequel to Saint Death's Daughter, which is about a necromancer who is literally allergic to violence, and it causes problems. But it's such a fun series. I like to say it's like Gideon the Ninth, but if Gideon liked sparkly pink glitter, basically. So yeah, there we go. That is my book haul. That is 41 books. So clearly this book buying ban is well needed, and maybe I should learn how to process my feelings without buying books. Or not. It's just a thought. Anyways, if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching and spending your precious time with me. If you'd like to leave a comment, I would love for you to yell at me to read one of these books. Like, is there one on here that is your favorite or that you are really curious about and would like to see a review for? Let me know what it is. If you just want to leave an emoji to let me know that you're here, let's do a basketball, because there's always this year right on top. So we'll do a basketball emoji. And like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Bye!